Alright, so we have reached the second ending. This time we are going to try to reach the first ending. So we are going to start from the start, obviously, and see if there's anything different. We'll see. Yes, I've already tried to check, and this part is basically skippable all the time. I don't know why I'm playing this. I guess it's just to extend extra time. Yippee! Finally get called out for adding extra 10 minutes to the video for no reason. Oh, just kidding. I'm just like loving seeing all of this. Like all of those expression, arts, just adds to it. And now we arrive at this branching part, which I've already played a little bit, but I also checked a little bit forward before starting this, so I can know whether or not like I will be invested in it or not, but I probably will. So last time we refused, this time accept. You were waiting for Annie to jump at you and scream surprise as her dad gets out of the car. The tape around his wrist evaporating into thin air as the pair pulls you into an awkward hug to reveal their green skin. Refuse what? When we refuse, that happened. What if we accept, huh? It'd be the perfect way of properly welcoming you into their messed up little family. A sick joke like that would seem right up her alley. Only that you know that that moment will never come. Just as you know that if you made the wrong move now, you have to worry more about than just Annie's dad. Annie was severely unnerved if you question her any further now, the situation will certainly escalate. It might be best just to go along with it now. To the extent that you could simply go along with a murder. That wouldn't hold up very well in court. Shit, is he even alive? He should be. Annie murmured, unsure. But I doubt he knows what's going on. The months of pain from 3 steps away seems to hint at something different. For your own well-being, you decide to ignore it for the time being. I just need a moment, Annie. Annie nodded and awkwardly looked around, deciding to sit herself on the trunk and contemplate on what to do. Maybe trying to rub the dirt off her beyond salvageable sneakers was her way of doing that. You glanced towards her, sighing inwardly. Annie used to sing nothing but praises of her dad. Around town he was very well liked, a little short-tempered maybe, but nothing that would alert anyone. He was a frequent churchgoer, donated an appropriate sum every Sunday. Maybe his age should have alerted you more than he did back then, an obvious sign that he wasn't in the house to help raise Annie. You thought he was nothing more than a babysitter paid for by waivers. Even that doesn't seem to ring true anymore. A monster in disguise. Everything was still hard to believe. A little hard to believe. Now you're left waiting, aimlessly standing around hoping to find an answer in the endless evergreen towering over you. Instead of pondering about all the possible what-ifs, you decide to join her in her solitude. Blaming yourself wasn't going to do any good now. I didn't know your dad would do that. It's not like anyone would want to hear about that. I just wish I could have done something. It was enough to let me hang out at your place all the time. Yeah, for how long that worked out. Well, that wasn't your fault. It was good for the most part. Esther was a good enough excuse. Don't call her that. Come on, Esther did nothing wrong. Sorry, but she does like me, doesn't she? Yeah. She does. She talks about you a lot, Esther. If honestly, if we can, we could have like if the second ending is seems a little bit rough. Like there's still like a lot of untied knots every here and then with the feelings of each other. But at least they are together, I guess. At least they are not trapped in this town anymore. That's the better word. And together, even though the together is questionable. But it's still like they stayed in a contact with each other. Like I feel like it's better for Oliver and Annie just to be friends right now, honestly. But like, yeah, if only we could have take Esther away as well from this hell of town.
See? It wasn't even a lie, really. I like spending time with her more than with you, honestly.
Look at that. That's a key. Oh, this is so nice. Like the key that I keep seeing the description like jingling thing. I don't think I see it like back then. Also, you wear a double belted stuff, whatever you call it, double hold, something, Oliver. Why's that? Annie shrugged.
She's pretty cute.
Hey, now.
Not cuter than me, of course.
That's not what I was saying. A mischief chuckle escaped Annie's lips, quickly suffocated by the stolen mood.
How were you after you left school?
Annie worded this blatantly in her favor, as if it was out of your own volition to suddenly drop out of school. Gee, I wonder why that happened, huh? This wasn't exactly something you wanted to ask about at this very moment, as it seems of little practicality, but at least you gave her a credit for caring. How do you expect? I barely left my bed. I would only go downstairs for meals, even then I would hardly eat a thing before going back to my room. One day at dinner, Dad told me that I should find a job and move out if I'm not going back to school. After that I shut myself in. Mom even started bringing me meals up when I was sleeping. Not much more to it. Annie bit her lip, probably regretting having brought it up.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean for that to happen.
Yeah, it's whatever. I don't care about that anymore. It just sucks you blew up like that.
I'm sorry.
This is much more heartfelt than before. Before it was really chaotic.
You remember when I told you that my dad found out about us?
Yeah, your dad found out what we both are. Every teenage secret gets busted eventually. So did yours when Annie came to you one night crying and distraught about a recent fight with her dad. He must have found out about you two one way or the other. She said he was angry at her and by proxy at you. Annie refused to break up. She said she could handle it. She might have been able to handle her dad, you not so much. the dad that we're speaking about is under the trunk right now. Annie was still his daughter, so to say. She still received his grace while you were the bad boyfriend, filling her head with all sorts of twisted ideas. Feeling like you had him at the nape of your neck, watching her every move took quite a toll on you. You felt guilty for a good reason. After that, you started drifting apart little by little. Yeah, did he do something?
No, I mean, of course he was angry, but he never acted on anything. It feels like he was stretching it out, waiting for something. Waiting for me to mess up. And then you just started ignoring me.
I didn't ignore you.
But you were always busy. I couldn't come to you with anything anymore. It felt like you just forget about me.
Is that really why you did it?
Maybe I was just jealous. Is that what you wanna hear?
And as soon as she seems to be getting somewhere, she sat herself down again. Annie was rarely ever honest with her feelings. Always quick to escalate and blow everything out of proportion rather than getting to the root of the problem. It was fine by you, considering you really rather not talk about this right now, if ever. If it were up to you, all those memories would be buried 6 feet underneath the ground. Like what we're going to do right now, huh? Oh, the reflection in the car, it's so beautiful. Look at that, that's so delicious. Everything that Annie was making a big deal out of was in reality much smaller than what she herself pulled off a few weeks ago. Nothing she would say or do could justify that for you. Of course you felt bad for her, but she never told you anything about her dad. How were you supposed to help her if she didn't tell you? Yeah, but at the same time, it's hard to tell, you know. Yet you realize that anything other than apologizing will just add fuel to the fire and nothing good will come out of fighting now. I'm so... Could you shut the fuck up? Just die already. Your half-hearted apology got interrupted by frantic banging from inside the trunk. Holy shit. Annie brought down her fist on the car and heart. A small dent appeared in the place of her fist. Ooh. You jump at her sudden movement.
Yeah, we're talking about you.
Maybe he wants to say something? We don't need to hear anything from him.
Like what?
I don't know, something about his hidden cash tag he'll give us if we let him go.
Yeah, bullshit. I didn't want to hear anything from him anymore. Besides, it's a little late for that. I saw all the cash she saved up and hid around the house.
Which was... Annie opened her bag and it's filled to the brim with cash tags held together by rubber bands. You see something shining hidden underneath all of sacks, but Annie is too quick to close it for you to get a good look.
I know, not gonna ask either, but it seems like enough.
Yeesh, that's a lot.
It's good that he was stupid enough to never trust banks.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it? A smear creeps up your lips, but you quickly wipe it off. There isn't really anything amusing about this situation. The fact that Annie was level-headed enough to grab the cash while running out of the house kinda creeps you out. I mean... She... gotta have, like, all of this planned already. Because, you know, escaping this fuck of an abuser. That's good and all, but... Maybe he'll just go away if you let him go? Leave. Town? What, and then you both stay in this town? No. No shot. He's like your most trusted person, like right there by the church even. I don't think you both get any, like, credibility here.
Whose side are you on here? If you're so eager to hear from him, go ahead, open it. But I guarantee you nothing of value will come out of his mouth.
And he was losing her temper with you, it's probably best to let it rest now. It's time to recognize that you two are at some fault for the situation. At least in Annie's version of the story. No, it's whatever. I'll help you.
Thank you, Ollie.
Yeah, spare it for later. So what we'll do? Just knock him out and leave him to the animals? And... we are back here. We can skip this. Oh yeah, it's the same thing, but Annie's style look a little bit different, huh?
I can do it. You don't have to do that. While it was nice of her to offer herself up, for some reason you didn't quite trust Annie with the task at hand. Maybe it was her shaking hands or the uncertainty in her face that told you she was too unstable to be trusted with this task. She flailed out, and then you'd be left to clean up the mess. You shook your head. I'll do it. Can you turn around? No, I said I'll do it. Annie's eyes widened. This time you're the one to do it. You could tell by her action that she was just a little scared of you. Well, that wasn't fair. You are doing her a favor. Let me do this for you, okay? She shuffled her feet, clearly unnerved, but without another argument, she nodded and turned around. Guess you already agreed, there's no backing out now. You opened the trunk and faced Danielle, now fully awake and aware. In this very moment, you're glad that his screams are muffled by the tape of his mouth. And even through that, they sound absolutely livid. On a second thought, maybe you should have convinced her. Maybe you would have put up a fight even if you let the more cowardly side of yourself win. Maybe then the urge to impress wouldn't have give you such a headache. This is what it is, you try to reason. If it weren't for him and the things he put into your head, the gnawing doubt, the secrecy and missed phone calls. The unshakable fear of everything as you know it being destroyed by a single sentence, then it would never come to this. Then maybe Annie wouldn't have finished the job in his stead. As you grip the handle, you think that waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel must be more unbearable than the thought that the end is there at all. Or maybe all a man like him can feel is hate. Nothing but anger can be seen in the scathing eyes staring right back at you. Despite yourself, you adjust your grip on the handle as your other hand joins the first. You take one deep breath, lift the crowbar. Oof! You take a moment to catch your breath and slam the trunk back shut. Still gripping the iron, you notice your hands trembling a little. You said not to give it too much thought.
I'll drive us to the cliff. The cold sweat in your body starts to stick to your shirt and you shiver under the frigid air, despite your jacket waving heavily on your shoulders. You tread towards the car, awaiting an answer from Annie all the while. But there are no footsteps behind you to be heard. Annie doesn't follow. Me? It feels different, huh? Watching like someone else, like when you do it, that's mostly like if you do it yourself, you wouldn't probably realize until you see someone else doing it, and you're like, huh.
Her face was plainly objected with fear, coming from the depths of her soul. You didn't understand why. Why was she scared of you? You take a careful step towards her, but then he yelps as she backs off, and for some strange reason, annoyance slithers its way into your mind. What did she do?
What do you mean? I knock him out like we said we do.
Oh god. I think I'm gonna be sick.
What? Annie stumbled back and covered her mouth with her hands, breathing heavily, almost heaving. What? Annie? What's wrong? Did she do something else, Oliver, that you didn't realize? Or probably Annie just feeling uncomfortable, you know, with this whole situation.
Yeah. This was all a bad idea. We should just go home. I don't want to do this anymore.
Wait, what? I already slammed this guy.
My mom will look for him. They will find him and oh god.
If they find us, just lie. You're good at that.
She will never believe me. No one will. I'll come clean. Tell the police what happened.
Annie, you can exactly back out of this now. You motion to the carbon in your hand, which now has a few specks of blood on it. The red fluid shines in the reflector lights of the car. What if she was going to tell on you as soon as you got home? Make up a sob story to her mom about her evil boyfriend who wanted to take her away. Annie changed her mind about things as often as the tides turn.
I can. I should. It's the right thing to do. Lying is a sin that always taught me.
Why are you suddenly following your dad's order anymore? No, Annie? I have two suspicions. Either Oliver just blanked out and do something really brutal, or Oliver's what do you call it? Action and tones and stuff like that. It makes Annie. It brings back Annie's fear of her dad. Why do you suddenly care about what he has to say? What he did was a sin too.
But I don't want him to die.
What the hell do you mean? And also probably because like the dad doesn't talk to her like that. Huh? A minute ago you were practically begging me to kill him for you. And now?
I don't know what I was thinking.
He hurt you. He nearly choked you to death and you want to protect him over me.
But he always been there. He always been there for me when no one else was.
No. Annie, come on.
He wasn't bad.
Annie trails off frantically looking around herself. You look at Annie to try and see what she is, to understand what's going through her mind this very moment. Do you want to wait until he wakes up, until he talks? We can do that. But you just don't get it. You want to grab her by the shoulders and shake her body till her brain is set right, for her to stop spewing her emotional nonsense. But you are better than him. You will not yell at Annie. You maintain your composure despite your blood-boiling blisters on your skin. She wasn't dumb but short-sighted. If you left it all to her, both of you will definitely get caught. Do you want me to go to prison? Is that it? How about you tell them that it was all my idea? You'll get off scot-free. You're only 17, the law really plays in your favor. Annie stares at you dumbstruck, all her frantic panic quickly replaced by a dooming sense of fear. She starts shaking her head in a frenzy as if refusing to acknowledge what you just say.
I don't want that. I don't want to be alone. That's what it's
sounding like.
No,
Oh, interesting. If you tell on yourself, you tell on me. After now, I ran out the door to see you. Who else would I meet after all? No one but you wants to see anymore.
I'm sorry. As soon as the first sob leaves Annie's mouth, we catch her by her shoulders, pulling her in. Right in the nick of time.
Hey, it won't come to that. It'll be fine. I just need you to listen to me. I know you're scared, but we're in this together now. In order for me to help you, you have to cooperate. And I look at you like a deer in the headlights, reflector light shining out upon its feature in a godly premonition, one blink away from death. I love the difference between this road and that road. This is really different. I love it. I feel like I'm reading a different story, you know. And you knew that absolutely nothing of what you said had reached her ears. It was you who come up with this because you want to do this.
I don't want us to go to jail. This is bad, Ollie, really bad.
He was bad. He hurt you. I'll never hurt you, you hear, Annie? Annie gulped uncomfortably.
I know.
Sorry, my throat again. Okay, let's continue. I know, but
it's murder.
Your grip on Annie's shoulder was becoming harder to control with every word she spoke. No, you're not listening. Listen to me. When have I ever tried to hurt you? It was a simple question spoken calmly and clearly. You know how you sound like right now, probably? You sound like the Neil, maybe. It caused her to actually think about what you asked, formulate an answer, and get her head out of the history at James itself in.
Never.
Right, I'm trying to help you, so help me make this work, please. What did you say earlier your story was? Repeat it to me.
He got drunk and drove off the cliff.
That's right, it was an accident. He got drunk and drove off the cliff. You stayed at home and called me because you were worried. Everything is fine. And his shoulders slumped down the tiniest inch, a hint of relief settling into her. With that heavy exhale, escaped your nose in hopes that you finally managed to turn her around to go through with the plan she made.
What about you? Won't your family wonder where you've been?
They probably wouldn't, actually. I don't think anyone cares where I went. You let go of her, Annie having seemingly regained both her common sense and her composure, except Esther. Yet she doesn't face you, only looking at the floor, almost looking a little defeated. The truth hurts, you suppose she had to hear it from someone. You're with me now, got it. We don't need him, we'll figure it out ourselves.
Okay.
Will you follow me to the car now? Before something or someone catches up to us. Annie doesn't say anything, she simply nods reluctantly. You hear her soft footsteps falling over you. With your back turned to her, it was almost as if Annie didn't exist. As if this situation wasn't real. It was always a little too easy to forget about her. Annie never had a big presence about herself, her footsteps treading lightly so as not to disturb anyone. Walking behind rather than beside you, falling like a domino whenever someone pushed her out of the way. This drawing really shows that, huh? Her demeanor never quite matches her crass words. It was hard to tell which of the two was the real Annie. She never changed much. She was still the clumsy, indecisive girl she has always been, stumbling over her feet as she did with her words. But that's why you loved her. She was a constant in your life, never changing. No matter the truth, Annie loved you, you were sure of that. And so Annie would follow you as you lead. It has always been that way. As you escape out of class into the schoolyard, you see Annie patiently awaiting you. Did you promise to meet her today? Shit, you don't remember. Hey, Annie.
Why did you ditch me? I thought you had to go to church yesterday.
I was helping my dad.
I saw you with Walter.
That's right, last Saturday, Annie has asked you if she could sleep over at your place. Sleepover were never a good idea. They came with too many questions and too many words about what lie Annie has told her dad this time around to allow her out after 9 p.m. At the time, it seems easier to pretend to be preoccupied with boring family matters.
If you are secretly meeting up with someone, maybe don't do it somewhere so public next time.
You wanted to slap yourself for being so dense. Acting dumb wasn't going to save you now. So I can't have other friends anymore?
What? That's not what I'm saying. Why weren't you honest to me? You can hang out with other people.
I just took you get up in your head about it. Which I was right about.
Huh? I'm not. I don't care. You could have just said you'd rather hang out with him than me.
I just already said I go watch the game with him. One of his friends was playing.
That's fine. I just don't want to be lied to.
Okay, I'm sorry. Won't happen again.
You always say that.
Hey now, don't act like you don't lie to me sometimes either.
What?
Hey lovebirds. Suddenly a cheerful voice rings. What? Did it just skip? Rang out from behind you. It skips there. You turn your heads and there he was. Hello, Walter. Speak of the devil. Aren't you too cute? How about you kiss for the camera? Walter made a frame with his fingers and posed in front of you as if he were a photographer. You gave him a playful shove as he continues to grin at you. Cut it out, asshole. And he didn't seem to be pleased with your sudden company.
Don't you have to go iron your boxer or something?
Walter squinted his eyes as he continued to smile down upon Annie. Wow, what a warm welcome. Hello to you too, Annabelle. Annie had no interest in greeting Walter. You gave her a little nudge. No need to be so rude.
Hi.
What are the lovebirds doing? Just talking. About? You opened your mouth wanting to speak before Annie could cause a scene, but she put in her words before you could.
About Oliver's church duties.
How boring. Didn't you ever get sick of being so prim and proper? It's impossible to hang out with you, princess. You know I don't have a choice. Yeah, you do. Just say no instead of, oh, father, lecture me some more, and while those are at it, allow me to shove the Bible up my ass. Annie frowned. One of the main reasons why she disliked Walter was because of his blatant so-called blasphemy. Although he was just joking, it always made her uncomfortable. You found it funny. I don't think your mom would like to hear you say that. As if you care. So what do you want? Can I just come to enjoy your company? Maybe I can third wheel my way along a trip to the dinner and maybe watch you make out as I eat some sad, lonely, soggy fries. Quit your whining, I know you want something. Alright, let me make this quick. I want to talk to you about something. Can I steal your boyfriend away for a minute? He motioned towards you, but Annie steps in front, blocking Walter's way.
Just say it. Whatever you want to tell him, he'll tell me later anyway.
Is that so? How much do you even know about him?
I know plenty. I bet you didn't know that he still has 4 of his baby teeth.
Why are we talking about that? You still have 4 of your baby teeth? I know that. Did you know when he was a kid he couldn't differentiate between the letter B and D?
Huh?
Yeah, and it took him ages to learn how to read. And look over to you in awe as if this was a vital piece of information we had from her. In reality, it was nothing but embarrassing. There's a reason, plain as day, that you never told her about this.
Wait, really?
Yeah, my dad say his what? This is getting ridiculous. Will you two grow up? Well, I'm not the one starting an argument here. Talk to your girlfriend. He shot Annie a serious look, a warning perhaps. This always escalated between Walter and her, and it was starting to become really bothersome. He just wanted your 2 classes and dare say only friends to get along. She wasn't even putting in the effort to pretend to like him. Annie bit her lip nervously.
Sorry.
By the way, I saw your science project, not half bad.
Thanks?
You know, if you actually attended class, you might have decent grades. Better than Oliver, at least. Annie scoffed.
Who are you, my mom?
It's a well-meant observation.
Then tell your asshole friends to stop laughing every time I talk.
Right. You sure have gotten more mouthy ever since spending time with Oliver. Good? Question mark? What do you do to her, huh? I don't do nothing. No, really, you can tell me later when God is not listening in. After getting nothing but a glare from Annie, Walter huffed. Come on, don't look so grumpy, I give you a compliment.
In return, Annie grimaced a smile. She was making absolutely no effort to hide her distaste for him. Interesting indeed. Is she always like this? I'm right here. Then speak when I'm talking to you. Don't think just cause your daddy is a doctor you have authority to tell me to do jack shit. Oh, I didn't think of you, of all people, should be speaking about other people's father. Oof. Excuse me? Oh my bad, I wouldn't want him to come to school again to teach me a lesson. Okay, this was escalating quickly. Walter, whatever, just tell me later, okay? Fine. As he turned away to leave both your bickering, he tilted his head to shoot you another glare. Then I'll see you at school tomorrow. Or not, depending on what you feel like, huh? You could tell he was addressing Annie specifically. You rested your hand on the small of her back for comfort, what? Sometimes it felt like you had to hold her back as if she was a leash dog. Grrr, woohoo, grrr. You don't gotta be so hostile around him. No. Rawr. Angry. I don't like it when he talks about my dad. I mean, your dad's a little much sometimes. He's just worried. He does a lot of cool stuff in me. He's a fucking asshole. Like, let me watch movies that mom doesn't anyway order pizza like every week. He doesn't mind if I skip sometimes either. He's pretty okay. You shrugged. That sounds pretty good. Definitely better than having a preacher as your dad. Annie smiled as she talked about him, and you took that as a good sign. Walter doesn't know what he's talking about. All his parents care about is his grades. Why do you hang out with him? He's so snobby. He's different outside of school. Yeah, because he's an image to uphold. What do you mean? So you don't think it's weird how he only talks to you when no one's around? You're around. I don't count. Well, whatever, he's just busy. Besides, you don't like anyone. Don't be surprised that nobody wants to hang out with you if you pull a face every time you got approached. That's not true. It is. You'll get front wrinkles. Alright, I'm leaving. Have fun with Walter later. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, see you. Without any storm off, her lips in a pout and her feet stomping the ground. In her fury, she left a notebook sitting on the stairway with a scattered brain. She was already out of sight, so there was no use yelling after her. You wouldn't run, that's for sure. Guess you'll have to take it home with you and dangle it in front of her nose tomorrow morning. That way she at least needs to come to school. Annie carried this thing around with her everywhere. It was clearly important to her. It wasn't even a fancy diary. It was simply a simple college notebook. Instead of taking notes during class, she probably wrote in this thing the whole time. You know it wasn't the right thing to do, but the temptation of it was simply too big. A little peek wouldn't hurt, right? There were a handful of pages of any complaints about various teachers and students, calling them colorful words that you're not sure the Bible would approve of. Approved. Her words were contrasted by little sketches of various animal and flowery adornments. Oh, that's nice. You flipped through pages with glee, only feeling a little bad for this invasion of her privacy. You are sure Annie didn't mind, just like you said. There was nothing in here that she didn't already tell you. You flipped the page. My hair looked nice today. I wish Ollie noticed. I want him to say I look cute. What else? Mike pulled on my ponytail in pee again. He's such an asshole and no one says anything. But Dad said he'll take me to the movie on Saturday. Not our small movie theater, but a big one in the city. I want new shoes. Oh, meow. Indeed, that's nice. The next day you returned Annie's diary with so many questions. If you look inside and if you did, she found out. So you better fess up. Of course you didn't look in, being the loving boyfriend you are. Despite one of Annie's many rules that said that her place was off limits for visitation, there was one instance where you decided to break the rule. You were at her doorstep rather often, bringing over things you forget at your place, acting instead for your sister. Her dad would always be there to accept her belongings before you could set foot in. Sometimes you could catch a glimpse of her home past the small lit slit by the door, which wasn't obscured by his large figure. During last winter and near the Christmas holidays, Annie stayed homesick from school.
She probably, only at the requirements of her dad, had asked you to bring this week homework for her place. As your face hovered over the wooden door, you noticed that the red delta was nowhere to be found. The driveway stood empty. Her mother was out this week, so it could only mean her dad was out as well. Like a teenager excited to finally have some time alone with his girlfriend in a house devoid of parents, he turned the knob and set foot into her home. Albeit not the reason what might think, there was little interest in getting close to Annie's snot-nosed face, and more to finally know what was behind the door she always shut so tightly. Oh no. As your deduction has predicted, he wasn't home. And it was a relatively normal, if not a bit messy household. It made you just the tiniest bit disappointed, yet also relieved that there was nothing nightmarish that Annie didn't want you to see. The first thing you noticed was how it smelled. Walter's house always smelled comforting, like the beams of sunlight hitting his soft bed through the large overlooking window. Like the warm home-cooked meal you ate with his mom, his dad, his aunt, his grandparents, and him at a table. But also the tiniest bit of clinical, like carpet cleaner and laundry disinfectant. And his home smelled stuffy. I know what you mean. As if the windows weren't open very often, almost a bit like a locker room. It smelled like when you hid your head under heavy covers to block out the outside world. Annie had not yelled out to her surprise visitor yet, so either she must be sleeping or listening to music. You made sure not to make any noise when you advanced and shut the door behind you, so as not to be caught in your sudden intrusion. There was a brown leather couch on the right, in front of the TV that stood on a sideboard in the living room. It was adjacent to an open kitchen where a few dishes were piled up. You glare at the fridge with lots of photos and notes on it and wonder how appropriate it is to look inside. The stuck-up blonde health class teacher was always says a person fridge is a window to one lifestyle. While dramatic, it held some truth. You decided to open the fridge to find it mostly barren, aside from the bare necessities like toast and some ham. Hi, Dad. Trash? Does that say trash? Throw the trash? Photo of Annie. Interesting. There were some cucumbers in the compartment and spare tomatoes, one of which already had a suspicious-looking white spot on it. I wonder what it is. The top was filled with crisp beverage and soda pop. In the middle of it lay a small plate of cupcakes, slightly prepared by none other than Annie. Near that was a small pantry with a lot of cans and other conservatives, boxed mac and cheese and Pop-Tarts, cereal boxes, and all that junk. Are you supposed to be opening just people stuff? A thin layer of dust settled on the small shelves that led further towards the bedroom, stacked with various trinkets, mostly model figures of racing cars and empty cans and bottles alike. As you went along the small hallway, you finally, inevitably, found what you were looking for. The reason why Annie didn't want any visitors.
Oh, hi, Ollie.
That's cute cat. Look at that. I love that. The photo. Is that with Esther?
Don't worry about the door, it's broken. That will fix it soon.
Any room didn't have a door. Oh. It had been mounted off, the hinge hanging empty on the wall. But why? There's a hole in the wall, huh? She spoke without being asked. He had hoped that she was right. He could only hope. The drive to the cliff goes by without anyone muttering so much as a word. What the fuck did you do to the door? There was nothing left to say. Once you notice a familiar pathway, you pull over and both of you step out of the car. Interesting. Oh, yeah, it really branches off from the usual, huh? From the second ending. You scour the area, taking in the view and the sound of the ocean down below. You've forgotten how calm it is here, only a few miles away from the thicket where any father let out his last scream. You have an intimate knowledge of this place. It quickly became yours and Walter's favorite spot during this last summer. The trees that rings the cliff wear their light summer leaves in stride, brownish greens hiding those starting to yellow and wilt. You look over to Annie, joining you in your moment of solace. They are reminiscent of the poorly disguised breezes that wring her neck. Okay.
It's so nice here. Why do you never take me here?
I guess I never thought of it. Annie chuckled solemnly.
You were never much of a romantic.
I still have time to learn.
That's right, you said you were here with. That was just Walter, wasn't it?
He too, I suppose. Annie bit her lip. It seems there was something that she wanted to say but didn't quite dare to. You assumed it was something along the lines of, everyone but me, huh? And a matter of fact, you didn't need to hear it out loud. Annie shuffled with her feet, her eyes nervously darting back and forth between the car and the woods you emerged from. Slowly but surely, you were growing impatient with her. You could tell she still wasn't entirely convinced to go through with this. She was still trying to leave herself an open back door and escape plan. Maybe she just needed a little push. I lied back there by the car.
Huh?
About my dad, he wants to send me away.
What? Where to?
I heard him talking about it. He wants to send me up somewhere for troubled youth.
Like boarding school?
No, more like a program for people like me. Oh no. Any size widen.
Oh,
Sorry? You know what they'll do to me there? And he fell mute. You are quite glad for it. None of this was true after all. Maybe your father didn't even deem you worthy of fixing. It's not that you wish it were, far from it, yet the questions remain, why doesn't he? If in his faith where he deems such a thing possible, why not for you? Oh. Perhaps you are a lost cause doomed to forever burn in the depths of hell. You're not. You're just a human being like all of us. The thug wasn't any less depressing. I can go back, Annie, do you understand? It was just a little white lie to make sure she doesn't change her mind again.
I'm sorry, I understand. I don't think that's right to do either. She had trouble finding her words, but given the situation, you were surprised Annie met it with as compassion as she did. I didn't mean for that to happen. And for what Walter didn't do anything. We can talk about it.
There's nothing to talk about.
Whatever you say.
That wasn't his fault. For all you know, they heard the same story Annie told loud and proud to the whole school. It wasn't a secret anymore. Can you help me now? To leave him out of there. An answer to your non-question was written plainly on her face, but you've given her a little space to object now. As Annie was busy twiddling her thumbs, you slipped back onto the driver's seat, driving the car towards the cliff edge, stopping just before it plummeted down the ocean. You walked back toward her, opened the trunk without another word, and turned your head. Her head, what? There was no need to discuss what to do next. Annie and you both lifted him up from the trunk. It took considerable effort even with the both of you. His limbs were heavy and his skin cold to the touch. As you tried to position him, his head kept blowing back and forth akin to that of a puppet. It was strange, he almost looked like he was sleeping, wasn't it for the open wound on his head? His chest was still rising up and down, the movement barely visible. You suddenly become extremely aware that he was, in fact, still alive and might wake up at any given moment. You didn't want to test your luck. You only hoped by the time they find him, the spare bulge of blood in the trunk would no longer be visible. Once you positioned him and made sure to take the crowbar out the front seat, you aligned behind the car to give it a final push. One good show, followed by a split second of silence. And with that, the deed was done. It was so easy, so quick, scaringly so. No more screaming, no more crying, no nothing. It wasn't premeditated and there was no spectacle. Just you and Annie standing at the cliffside waiting for something to happen. You looked down at the car slowly sinking and began to shake. The gravity of the situation suddenly becomes as clear as the ripping tides down below. You killed a person, a despicable, disgusting person, but a person nonetheless. You never thought you'd do something like that. Maybe because you were too trusting, or maybe just because he just didn't seem like the type. Whatever that meant. Eventually the illusion shatters and you're all left with is the hauntingly mundane truth. A grim reminder of what people are capable of.
He was never meant to find out. If he didn't, would all of this still happened? If you never met her, you glance over to judge any reaction. Her sorrow rained down on her like a summer storm. If you never had met her, probably Annie's in the worst place right now, maybe. I don't know. You are almost relieved by the immediacy and intensity of it. As long as she could cry, you were sure that she was normal, that she felt something along the lines of remorse or guilt. The thoughts in your head get all jumbled up while you try to figure out the right thing to say, if there even be anything appropriate in this situation. Yet you only open and close your mouth a few times, suddenly unable to find the words. A frail hand ends up resting on her back, drawing slow motions up and down in an attempt to be comforting. You could only watch as Annie stops, turn hoarse and pathetic as she slumped down by the cliffside. She raises her head and looks at you with teary eyes, a question on her mind. How do you think he'll die? Well, he'll probably drown now. The water will get in his lungs before he wake up, though, I think. So he'll stay unconscious? Well, a little bit of suffering wouldn't hurt him, don't you think? So true. I don't know. He was an asshole. I hope he burns in hell. As the last word left your mouth, you start to regret what you had just said. Annie froze up, clearly uneasy with your choice of words. He was an asshole, Annie. And you know that. Whether or not he deserved to die like this, I don't know. Do you want to sit down for now? You must be tired. I know I am. She made a small reaffirming noise. Annie walked forward, getting dangerously close to the edge of the cliff that you almost feared she planned to join her death for a plunge. Luckily, she only did so to look downward and observe the waves. She sat down, her legs dangling off the cliff, head hung low. You fall after her, taking off your jacket to gently put it over her shoulders, which gets her to crane her head back and give you a shy smile. You sit yourself next to her with your eyes set on the ocean in front of you. The moon hung high upon its water, its reflection shining brightly. Annie rests her heavy head against your shoulder, leaning into you. It's different. Do you think God will forgive me? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I cannot tell. But I think you are into a right direction, maybe? I think so. Now, say what you really think. Be honest. I don't think God gives a shit about any of us. He probably just up there pointing and laughing at us from his ivory tower. Annie starts off into the distance, fiddling with the lace of her dirty white sneakers. Yeah, so it was stupid how much she believed in all that, but you can blame her for being raised that way. The entire town was. Indeed it is. It's easier to grow sick of it all when you hear about God and his rules every day instead of once a week. For her sake, you decide to play the part. Is there something you like to get off your chest, little lady? Huh? Confess to your sins, it's between us and God. Well, dear father, I've committed the sin of murder. I'm scared God will send me to hell. What a predicament, young lady. You take your time pretending to weigh her wrongs and rights. Where are we role-playing as priest? Thou shalt not kill do not apply in the case of being in place of shit on behalf of the murdered. I, as the son of our appointed pastor, have hereby forgiven your sins. Annie smiles sadly, even if only to amuse your efforts. Is that how it works? Sure it is. It's all made up anyway. I can make up my own rules. You're almost certain that Annie didn't buy into it. She would likely forever be stuck in her ways, as were you. But at the very least, she stopped sulking, and that was enough for you. Thanks, Ollie. I think you were going to same place as him anyway, remember? At first, she looked a little confused about what exactly you were getting it at. It slowly clicked in her mind as the second passed. She let out a soft chuckle. Right, I'm too pretty to hell. For hell. You weren't sure if she made it up herself or picked it up from somewhere, but it clearly became a joke between the two of you that every time Annie didn't want to do something, she was simply too pretty for it.
Too pretty to bring out the trash, to do the dishes, to do homework. The more often she said it, the more ridiculous it became, and she started saying it to just about anything. Although today she didn't sound very enthusiastic about it. You got it. Annie let out a weak sigh, her way of telling you to ask her what's on her mind. Within the years, you had learned all of her little quirks. Something wrong?
Mama said I'm lucky that I was born pretty. But at least I wasn't fat. I didn't have acne or braces or glasses. If that were the case, I at least have a reason to get bullied, right?
Annie.
She said it was all my fault. That I didn't try hard enough. Maybe I still have a chance to marry rich, she said. Then I needed to before I got old.
You didn't need to. You don't need to listen to her either.
Sometimes I wonder if I look different if he had still done it.
No. Annie. I don't know, he probably would have. Isn't it more about feeling powerful than anything else? Annie takes a moment to weigh her words.
I suppose that makes me feel a bit better. Not that it happened, but I don't know, that it wasn't my fault.
You did the right thing. If he ever left, he likely would have just done the same to some other girl.
He wasn't always bad, you know.
He was always his.
All the ones before him didn't care about me. I only ever had Mom and she was never there. And if I told anyone, he'd have to leave. I really wanted him to stay. The way that he used to be.
Everything that Annie was saying felt contradictory to you, but somehow it made sense. Knowing you probably never will, never even could in the first place, no matter how much you want to understand how Annie feels about Daniel. Only that what conspired back at her home must have delayed to an extent that she herself never expected. That caused her to act in a way she never would have otherwise. You kept sitting together. You're not saying anything, just looking at Annie and not really seeing her either. You could barely hear her breathe over the sound of the ocean softly in and out. Your eyes were heavy, too heavy, alongside your very bones and hard muscles. You close your eyes, letting the waves lull you to sleep as exhaustion finally settles over you. Things could be so easy sometimes, if only you could always find the right words. If only she was a little easier to figure out, shorter on the words.
Maybe a little taller. Less of the complaining, less whining. She was always causing trouble, always throwing it to herself as if she couldn't live without it. Walter never complained. Well, almost. He only ever complained about Annie.
Another flashback? After class, your teacher held you back to talk to you about college application in rather concerned tones of voice. It was their job to pretend to care, as it was your job to pretend to listen. In a perfect world, you open the mail and accept a letter from college you never applied to will just fall into your hands. Oh, sorry, my throat. Okay, let's continue, shall we?
It doesn't matter which one, any of them are fine, preferably one near Walter's pencil at school. But it was way more likely you just copy most of what Annie wrote and apply the same one as her so you at least be with someone familiar. Yet somehow you adopted Annie had any application plan in mind, just miraculously hoping it all work out eventually. You could hardly blame her. Music comes right? You could see Annie and Walter bicker from a mile away. Those two were never up to any good if left alone too long. I thought maybe you should give them some time. See how it plays out. If anything goes wrong, you could always intervene. You lock the door that leads out the building and hide behind a conveniently placed tree near a pair of park benches with various stains and leftover trash. From here out, you could make out most of their words. And it felt just a little ridiculous, and if anyone were around to see it, you really wouldn't have any good explanation as to what you were doing. They might think you were a creep listening in on them, which was sort of exactly what you were doing. It was extremely childish and extremely nosy, but also, no. There was nothing else. You just wanted to spy on them. There. Hello, Annabelle. Walter.
Waiting on Oliver?
What's it to you?
Why am I even asking? Not like you have anyone else to wait for.
Very high coming from you.
Walter clicked his tongue, his patient growing thin already. So where is he?
A teacher wanted to talk to him about college.
Right. You know you should look out for him more.
What? What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Whatever. They both exchanged a bitter look and let the conversation to rest. You felt just a little bit to let them wait on you for so long, mostly for Annie. Walter could handle himself. Anything about standing up to spare them any further torture, but then Walter speaks up again. Ah. Do you know where you're going to? We're going to college.
As if you care.
Sorry for acting like I do. It wouldn't kill you to be a bit nicer. I didn't do anything to you.
Your friends do more than enough.
What's that supposed to mean?
Nothing, don't want you to order them to follow me around again.
Oh, please, you act like they're beating you.
They would if they didn't get in trouble for it.
As if you're worth the time. You're really not as important as you think.
And you are?
Actually, yeah, more than you. Ooh. That's just thanks to your mommy and daddy's money. Oh, that wasn't it.
That's just thanks to your mommy's and daddy's money. You probably pay the guys to hang around you anyway. Is your allowance growing thin or why aren't they with you?
You're just making shit up. Everyone else may believe you're bullshit, but I don't.
It's true, I heard the others talking about it. Is spending your break running back and forth defending machine that much fun? It's kinda pathetic if you ask me.
Walter nearly pressing his forehead against Annie, who flinched away just a bit. You know what they also say? Her look remained stern, even if a small bit faltered. He whispered the words so Annie could hear them. Then there was silence, stone cold, dead silence. Annie's eyes widened and she let out a barely audible noise. She took a shaky step back, lifted her hand and... Walter stood still for a moment, holding his hand over his cheek. His face was turned away from her, hiding his expression. Gee, can all of you chill down? When you realized what had just happened, you jumped to your feet, hoping to break them apart before it gets any worse. But Walter recovered from his shock faster than anticipated. Next thing you know, there are Walter's hand clawing at Annie's scrawny shoulder to hold her in place as she tries her best to get away from him, thrashing and yelling as she does. He's saying something, his voice growing louder and louder the more she fights against him. In the midst of it, his eyes finally meet yours as you get in their near vicinity, and without any word he releases his grip of Annie. She cries out and he storms out of the gate, fleeing the scene. Annie breathed heavily as you come into frame, ready to find ignorance. What happened? Ignorance? And you could tell she was on the verge of crying, but her performance left a lot to be desired. You gathered enough from their conversation to know it wasn't a one-sided argument. Her crocodile tears wouldn't impress you this time.
He just grabbed me and started yelling in my face.
He wouldn't just do that.
Well, he did.
Did you provoke him?
But even if, how does that make it okay?
It doesn't, but it explains it. And is it a little too long for it to be just out of shot?
I may have said something to him. It was a little mean, but it was the truth.
Would you look at that? No more crying, no more hysteria. Annie was back to her normal, avoidant self, blatantly lying at that. Annie, just learn from your mistake, okay? You just wanted her to admit it, hear her admit it, to no lie.
But then he completely freaked out and started to get physical.
You're impossible.
Seriously, one day without you two ripping each other's throat out, is that too much to ask? He's mean to me all the time, how is that any different?
And he shouted out various borderline profanities after you, as you stood up, turning you back on her to follow after Walter. The man in question already way out of sight paid you and your attempt to tell him to slow down absolutely no mind. You opted to set out in a pathetic little sprint that left you way more out of breath than you should have. You trot after Walter, who turned a sharp corner, pointedly ignoring you. Huffy and out of breath, you grab him by his shoulder to stop him in his track. This is much more... Look at that coloring. Beautiful. This is much more, Imperfect? No. Well, neighborhood. What's wrong, man? You little rabbit dog of a girlfriend is a bitch, that's what. Dude, what the hell? Sorry, yes. Sorry, I'm just mad. Doesn't mean you can say that about her. Oh, I can't? She's a fucking rumor mill person. What if she goes around and starts saying God knows what about me? And he says something different every day, like they really care what she has to say. But that's my point. She can run her mouth whenever she wants and it's fine because she's just a puppy-eyed hurt little girl with divorced parents. You can't really compare her situation with yours. Because you know so much about me and my family. Indian mom, American dad. One of the few things you know was that Walter's mother was rather strict with him. That wasn't something he bettered himself but rather known from second-hand experience. For such a fancy house, the walls weren't very thick. You didn't need to understand what they were saying to recognize her tone of voice, the one only a scolding parent possesses. Despite what Walter was implying, this wasn't an invite to ask him about himself. What's he say that made you so pissed? What is it to you? You always cover for her ass. Can you just cut the bullshit and just spit it out? Walter gripped the strap out of his bag and bit his tongue. It wasn't something new that he preferred to keep his feeling to himself. Nonetheless, he rarely was this avoidant about something. She said that my friends are only using me for money. What? Why aren't you saying anything? Well, she's not completely wrong. Oh no. Oh my god, you're such a fucking dick. No, but think about it. I mean, how much time would they really spend with you if you weren't their errand boy? Or if your house wasn't basically a liquor store? Walter scoffed and rolled his eye, his posture stiff and immediately becoming defensive. Those are just things we do for each other, you wouldn't know anything about that. She wouldn't have said something like that in the first place if your friends stopped picking on her. It really sucks for her. I don't know who you think I am, but I don't have any say in what they do. Not my fault she's making herself such a victim. It's like she wants it. No, sorry, I bammed my mic. Anyway, Walter, you cannot say that. That isn't right. She's not doing anything like that. Walter let out a childishly exaggerated drowned groan you were pretty sure could be heard all over the neighborhood. Oh yeah. It doesn't matter what I say. I'm going home. Bye, then going home. Wait, let me wipe out my glasses. Yes, I'm wearing glasses. I cannot see anything at all if I don't wear my glasses. I mean, I can see the silhouette of Oliver and Walty right here. Ollie and Walty. But I cannot read the dialogue. Oh, it's not enough. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Do you want me to come with you? I don't know. Can you decide without asking Annabelle first? The word escaped you. You can't think of anything smart to say, so instead you say nothing at all. You never talk about it, and you didn't want to assume anything, but maybe he also really didn't have another choice than to play along with the others, being the odd one out. The kid with the weird lunchbox, it was a touchy subject. At that moment, he looked a little more like that potty kid from primary school way back then than the guy who he made himself out to be. Whoever that may be behind it all. Walter knew a lot about you more than you like him to, but when it came to himself, he was rather tight-lipped. Other than studying, he didn't show great interest in anything. Maybe he liked video games. Maybe. He must have, considering he had every console currently in the market with nearly every game that was currently released. That's crazy. Walter, what the hell? Sometimes only playing them once to then decide they are no fun and letting them rot in a box under his bed. Walter! No! Why? He wondered if he only played them as long as you were around. He passed on the street that led the way to his home, going by identical-looking houses neatly aligned one after another while Walter ahead of you silently blew off steam. Walter's house, although estate might be a more fitting term, stood pretty much in the middle of what you could call the heart of your town. The beating heart of the town. Can you hear that? All this facade of niceness There's no difference here between the center and the outer side of town.
There was the mall built just a few years ago and just as boring as it always was. One cinema that played the same old movies on repeat, a few burger joints sprawled over the place, and the infamous duck con where teenagers would meet to get wasted. Hell yeah. It wasn't exactly a bustling hub of entertainment, but it was still worlds better than your home in the outskirts of town, caged in by the endless forest. The closest trace of civilization was the church, only a few minutes' drive away, and also the last stop of the bus line at the always leaving you to walk the rest of the way home. It took Walter 5 minutes of silence to stop at the crossway that would lead further down the way to his house to turn around to face you again. He had enough of pretending you didn't exist. You weren't going to leave anytime soon. Oh, no, Walter. I'm here to stay. I'm here to talk to you. I just want to talk, Walter. I just want to talk. Let me shake your hand. I forget it. Yeah, it's from that same video, right? I just want to talk and I just want to shake your hand. I'm hungry. You want to grab something to eat? Yeah. Well, Walter, piece of offering was very much appreciated. Food wasn't exactly the best way to lure you. Really, what is it then? Not really. I'll pay you. No, I'm not hungry. Gaming? You're never hungry. I'm getting you a burger. I just said I didn't want to. And I don't care. I want one, you're getting one. What? Why? I love the dynamic between both. I know they all taste like crap. What else is new? Oh, sorry, I can skip that. Fine, whatever. Walter popped the cap of the drink and took a few last sips before offering you the rest. It had lost all of its fizz and was lukewarm by now, but you still accepted. Half a tasteless burger and a third of a soda drink later, you sat in the dirty parking lot of the fast food place and watched the sparse car drive by, sometimes listening into their drive-thru orders that fit a family of 5. No, it's just one single person ordering for 5 people, okay? How about we go for a drive sometime, after graduation? Obviously, assuming you make it. If you help me out a little. I don't know if you're worth the risk anymore. Damn. Walter tried to sound serious, but it felt pretty flat considering he rarely ever pulled through with the things he said. It was all bark but no bite. Indeed. You don't have your own fang, aren't you, Walter? All bark. Not even bark. Wine, probably. Sorry. This could confirm when he just went on changing the topic like nothing happened. Remember the cliffside by the woods? Maybe you can do a road trip over the summer. Drive further out, go to a town that doesn't suck as much. Maybe. Then maybe everything would have been better, isn't it? You know, live out of the car and stuff. Walter crumbled out the wrapping of his burger and aimed it at the trash can, hitting right into its bullseye. You stared at the half-finished burger in your hands and think about doing the same, but Walter paid for it. Just do it if you want to. It'd be a waste. If you are honest, it was probably less about the money and more something else. Yeah, I've decided for us. Summer suck ass here, it's so boring. You're not going anywhere with your family? I'll just say I'm busy applying to med school. I'll stay behind, they don't need to know. You mean it? Yeah, sure. As long as it stays between us and we don't end up taking your dog along. What's wrong with the doggo? Dog. What did she say to her back there? Oh, she didn't text you. Color me surprised. Oh, you mean... Oh, you... Wait, you mean... Anissa? In relation... Anis? You weren't going to take... Annie. Fucking hell, I forgot for a moment. Sarcasm for an answer, Walter furrowed his brows. Doesn't matter, she shouldn't start fight, she can finish. You shouldn't start fight, you can finish as well. Maybe just apologize tomorrow before you try to avoid her for a week again. This time Walter put his foot down. He swore that he wouldn't come crawling back to her, that he had enough dignity to wait for her to apologize first as she stood. He and Walter kept sitting and talking about the world's most meaningless thing till it started getting dark and we parted ways. Oh! The next day during lunch period, Walter apologized. It made you realize that Walter, beside all the crass things he said, just wanted people to like him. The road trip was that what you have been looking forward to the whole last year. It was your own getaway from this whole town and everyone in it. You thought maybe
Just maybe you come back home after and miraculously will have the guts to make everything right. However, that didn't happen, doesn't it? While stuck in a dream that would never come to fruition, it's so easy to pretend any didn't exist. And while you know you should have felt guilty for thinking that, you didn't. It felt freeing to not have to think of what to say and how to act around her every day. Indeed it is, isn't it? To pretend you didn't mind her long-winded talks about her family, how everyone and everything was so annoying. The way any talk about other people drag you down. You had this fleshed out negative image of classmates you never had ever spoken to before because of what Annie had told you. Things you supposedly overheard or saw while looking at their notes, their phones, story about their family and relationships. Stories you're not even sure were true, and if they weren't, what did she gain by making everything up? Most people lied about themselves to put themselves into a better light. Annie lied about the others to put them down. Not even to an audience, just to you. It only started bothering you when it came to Walter. Oh, why is that? Why not the other people? And you tried to talk him back. It made you angry because you knew it wasn't true, none of it was. Is it not? It was the confirmation you had always anticipated, yet fretted at the same time. It was all lies. You always had to tell her where you went, with who, for how long, all while she lied her ass off all the time. It wasn't fair. It isn't fair, did? I agree with that. So you figured if Annie was lying to you all the time, well, didn't that make it okay for you to do so too? Will it? Will it be? I don't know. Probably not. And so you didn't feel guilty for turning your back on her that day? No, not at all. And I chose to say those things, spread her lies, everything she did was certain intent. Was with certain intent. No, you don't understand. This will ruin my fucking life. Annie had a choice. Walter didn't. Hey, Ollie.
Oliver?
A pointy elbow nudged you in your ribcage, your eyes jolted open, and the first thing you notice is a dull ache coming from your neck, likely caused by the way you were resting. You lift your head and stretch your neck, rubbing it gently with your hand. Okay. Oh, stretching neck. Ouchie. The ache subsides, and as you stretch your head back, you find your jacket lying discarded on the floor, so you decide to pull it back over your freezing arms.
This isn't really the time to be dozing off.
You let out a half-hearted chuckle. Sorry.
What are you dreaming about, huh?
Not much, I was just tired. What were you doing while I was out?
Just thinking, watching the ocean.
You decided to line slightly forward to see what was so interesting about the body of water, and sure enough, the red delta was nowhere to be seen, likely having found its rightful place at the bottom of the ocean. If her dead corpse would ever escape its interior and float up to the surface, you didn't know. You certainly did not want to stick around to find out.
It's been like this for some time. He never came out.
She sounded like she expected him to, even had hoped so. If those movies were correct, bodies don't come out afloat till days later. Since he's trapped in the car, maybe he won't ever surface. I hope so. It'd be your ideal scenario for him to disappear in the quietest way possible. Though you'd hope Annie would find that very comforting to hear now. Yeah, understandable, Annie. Did you get an idea what to do now? Annie shakes her head, her vision still glued to the ocean. We can just go back like nothing happened. I don't
really want to go back home.
The implication behind any words was clear. She wanted to run away with you. Is this the correct path to do? She wanted to leave this town and never come back like she always said she would. Like, yeah, sure, run away together, but if it's like you both staying in a relationship that you both don't like, then oof. It's hard. Although you didn't expect that day to be the day. And not with Annie by your side if you were completely honest. Yeah. Well then. First we should get our hands on a new car, maybe an RV. We could live out there for a while.
You're just agreeing?
You shrug. Do I have a choice?
Don't say that like I'm forcing you.
So what? You want me to walk home now and forget any of this ever happened?
We can just buy a car. Neither one of us should use our real names when buying anything.
I guess we need fake ideas. Who says we have to buy it legally, with papers and all anyway?
Because that's so easy.
It's not impossible, your cash can hardly be tracked back to us. In some backwater town, I'm sure there'd be someone wanting to get rid of their junkyard car.
For that, we first have to get back to Hick Town by foot.
Yeah. Any constant questioning did not help you feel at ease. It also did not help that you were the only one making actual suggestions while she was busy taking each and every one apart. Since when was she even in charge here? You've done everything up till now, not like she ever made any sound decision herself. Well then, I guess we better get going. It can only get lighter, not darker. I'm sure as hell not staying the night.
You don't like camping?
You can hardly call it camping without a tent. Like this? No. It's gonna be like a Bible camp all over, but way worse.
I like Bible camp.
What? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, it was really good at capture the flag. I was really good at capture the flag. Everyone wanted me on their side.
No way, you suck at PA.
I don't suck. I just don't participate. It's not worth the effort.
I don't buy it.
Oh, you don't?
Annie took a slow step backwards and then another. Oh, Annie? No. She started smiling, and one instinct started closing in, but by then she had already turned around, starting off into a childish sprint. Stop right there. What the hell? What? Hey, get back here! After about what felt like an hour of trekking through winding dark path and endless forest, our road was nowhere to be seen. Annie kept asking repeatedly to the likes of a kid in the backseat of a car when you'll finally be there without knowing where there even is. You vaguely remember seeing a model some miles out of town when you left your parents' summer trip this year. You prayed for a miracle that you somehow run into that rather than a hitchhiker who will only see two suspiciously disheveled teenagers with a crowbar in hand. Chill, we're just playing games. With a crowbar in hand, chasing each other. Yeah. That or a crazy person running through woods on the prowl and mistaking your fleeting form as one of his future trophies. Oh no. You hear a gentle trickling of water before you slip through another lines of trees and see a little stream winding through the woods. It didn't appear to be too deep. You could easily leap it or wade through within the space. The water wouldn't come up any higher than your knees. You walk past it, taking it the scenery for just a moment but disregarding it quickly. Seeing the stream here meant you likely weren't as far away from the cliffside as you like it to be by now, or even on the right path at all. You let out a frustrated sigh, looking around disoriented, unsure where to go next. Will following the stream leads you outside of town or just further into the wilderness? The latter was more likely, but then which direction should you steer instead? Up, down, left or right, north or east, or west or south? You had no idea where anything was anymore, where you stood or where you started off. Where any of this even lead. Perhaps crossing the river would be the most logical option after all you decided. Someone needed to decide. We need to cross the river. You shall take off your shoes. A high whining rang out from behind you.
I don't wanna. I'm tired and we're not getting anywhere.
Yeah, if you keep complaining the whole time, you won't.
My legs hurt. I have scratches all over. This sucks.
You're the one that runs into the forest first. So what? You'll just sit down and stay here forever?
Watch me.
And that she did. Okay. Annie sat down by the little stream and dunked her hands in it, playing with water. Your eyes let out a heavy breath through your nose. No need to get impatient. She was just as frustrated as you. Surely she just needed a break. A little break wouldn't make things any worse. You hug Annie's head from behind. She wobbles forward, as if spineless, and you let out a mocking snort as she nearly tumbles into the stream. It seems to do the trick of making her loosen back up.
What's your issue? What the hell?
You needed someone to keep you steady. Your question was met with an unintended, angry glare. You end up sitting down behind Annie, wrapping your arms around her. Oh. I could use a drink. Should I grab one of those beer bottles from the backseat?
Me too.
No drinking for you, little lady.
Not drinking for you either.
But it's 2 years less illegal. Shut up, both of you. No drinking.
That's not how it works.
You shrug. We just killed a person. I think underage drinking will be pale in comparison. Really? Is it though? No, no, no. And his concern knows in response. None of you should have went through this.
I don't like it when you drink. Makes you stink.
It keeps you away from kissing me at least.
Now why would you want that?
Just joking.
Ollie, can we get back together?
Immaculate timing as always. Did we ever break up?
Well, you were serious about pushing me out of your life.
I had a right to be.
I'm sorry, I just didn't want to be forgotten.
I'll never forget you. You could have just talked to me.
Would you have stopped?
I could have at least explained.
Explain how you're cheating.
And he looks away, currently mopping, but not saying a word. She always managed to make you feel like shit. Yippee, Annie, you got a trophy for that. Woohoo.
Was it really just for show? Just for show for you?
I do like you.
But not enough.
I like you enough to kill your dad with you. Doesn't that mean anything to you? Annie locked her head to the side, looking off into the distance.
What's he got that I don't? Besides the obvious.
Yeah. It's not about that.
So you like girls too?
I like you at least.
Just me?
Don't push it.
I just never liked him. He's snobby. And after everyone knew he pretended like you forced yourself on him, he was always disloyal.
Yeah, Walter. You got a reputation to be kept up, huh? Oh, so you did that to test his loyalty toward me? Very chivalrous of you. If you say you're sorry again, I will push you for real this time.
I wasn't gonna.
Good. Having rolled enough, Annie freed herself from your grasp and jumped up, suddenly seeming energized.
Hey, before we go, what do you say we carve our initials into one of the trees? That'd be so romantic, wouldn't it?
You let her snort. I bet that'd be romantic, but not cool if for proof.
Why are you laughing?
Sorry, it's just, that's what you're thinking about right now? Seriously?
Well, I don't want to grovel in misery all night long. Come on, it'll be cute.
Annie scoured her view for the perfect tree to masquerade, and once found, began running gleefully towards it. Eepee! You both are so cheerful in this one. I like it. Wait, she was actually serious? Annie, do you not realize how stupid of an idea that is? Annie continued her merry way, playing with a sharp object as she mocked you in a tone that even matched your voice. You grabbed her by her arm to hold her back, causing her to yell.
Ow! What's the matter?
Will you listen to me? We are near a crime scene. They'll investigate the forest to find traces of your death, and then imagine they'll stumble upon a tree etched with our initials into them. Then we might as well turn ourselves in. I already said that. Annie pouted, but finally seems to listen to a bit of reason. Oh, yeah, that's actually true.
Lots of people names start with the letter A and O.
You get what I mean, right?
Yeah, buzzkill.
Also, why do you have enough with you?
Self-defense?
We have a crowbar. We just dumped someone into the ocean, so I'm sure how this is. This knife is a problem. Against who? Me? You have a crowbar, buddy.
I don't know, I pack it to feel safer.
Okay, well, there's no need for that anymore. I think it's best if I take it.
Huh? Why's that? I'll just put it back.
Give me the knife, Annie. You didn't mean to sound so demanding, but you were slowly but surely getting sick of letting Annie trample all over you. Oh no.
No, I already said I wouldn't do it. Why do you want it?
I just don't want you running around with it. It's dangerous. With her sour expression, she quickly slid the little knife back into her small brown bag, only to then lift both her hands up as if held at gunpoint, wiggling her fingers. Sorry. My fingers are free.
It's already gone, see?
You didn't find anything about any ex remotely amusing.
You know what?
Do what you want, I'm sick of this.
Huh? Wait, are you seriously mad? What did I do wrong? I was just joking.
Maybe there was no need to break it to her just yet. And it was easier to handle when she was full of herself. Whenever she got insecure, you be sure to spend the next 10 minutes comforting her. Annie, no. Look. Oh no. Which of course you didn't mind doing, being the loving boyfriend you are. You're kinda scaring me right now. Holy. You simply did not deem that very time efficient, considering from now on you're actually running from the law. We can sit around here all day, I'm leaving.
Hey, come on, talk to me. I said I wouldn't do it.
It's not about that. I ask one thing of you and you just go and do it your way instead anyway.
That's not fair. I always do what you want.
Yeah, like what?
Like, like what? I always came over when you wanted me to do. I cook and I help you clean. I did every school project we were assigned. Hell, I spent time with Walter because I knew it'd make you happy.
You click your tongue, you didn't expect she could actually name something. You did. Checkmate. Yeah, but never without a fight. You only do that to appease me, not because you agree with me.
So what's the problem with that? If I didn't do half of those things, no one would have. I'm not the one who's almost 20 and not done with high school.
That's a low blow.
You started this.
You're saying this like it's my fault.
Oh yeah, it's never your fault.
Oof. It's not. I've been screwed over left and right my entire life. And scoff and roll her eyes.
Here we go again.
God, you know what? You think you've got it all figured out and are so independent, but without me here you'd be dead by now. And I look at you as if you just spat on her sneakers. Oof. It was supposed to be a little snarky remark, one that stings just a little, but you did not expect the topic to upset her as much as it apparently does.
Huh?
I mean, that if I didn't pick up your call, you probably would have just carried around your house and cried for hours till your dad woke up and would have done God's know what to you. And even if you drive out there all on your own, which would have been a miracle in itself, then he could probably convince you to do otherwise, and then you really be the one underwater. You called me for help because you need me, you always do. Tears start welling up in Annie's eyes and her lips tremble as she tries to fight against your accusations, but the faltering looks in her face tells you all you need to know. Walter, you're the same. No, Oliver, you're the same, aren't you? I keep saying Walter, what the hell, dude? This is so wrong. Oliver, you're the same.
Yet she still fights. That's not true, I can handle myself.
It never is with you. You turn around to make your way forward yet again, Annie stands still in place like a stubborn kid, unwilling to move and unwilling to admit her wrongs. You know that she won't follow you if you don't turn back around, but does Annie know you're bluffing? For all she knows, you could really be leaving. Her stubbornness could not really leave her deserted one of these days. From a mile away, you could make out faint sniffles coming from none other than Annie. You might have gone a little too far. As much as the more annoyed part of you wants to leave her be and fend for yourself, then all that effort was for nothing, you realize. You groan inwardly as you turn on your heel. The first part was done, now you just have to make amends. You approach Annie, who keeps her back turned to you.
Didn't you want to leave?
I can turn back around if that's what you want.
You suck. Don't just walk away from me like I'm a little kid.
This is serious, Annie. I don't know if you understand that. Do you want to go to jail? I know I don't.
Of course not. I just want to lighten the mood. You're such a spoiled sport.
Looking at Annie with tears in her eyes and her mascara just a little smudge, you thought she looked a little cute. Nonetheless, it did its trick. You just wanted to teach her a little lesson, that's all. Things won't always go as she wants them to. She can always have her way with you. Will you give me the knife now?
Fine, whatever. Don't know why this is such a big deal to you.
Annie grumbly shoved the entirety of her bag into your face for you to carry. It is a little too late for you to realize that you could have just asked to carry her back for her down the road, and she would never so much as given it a second thought. Yeah. You know, for next time, you suppose. Thanks, then let's get going. You move along, but Annie tucks you on your jacket, holding you behind for just a moment longer.
Wait, we'll get through this, right, together?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be okay.
Do you promise?
Of course. I promise I won't leave you. You're my girlfriend after all. Annie's features softened up, a smile creeping on her lips in an instant. With everything else, all her troubles and burdens of the world so quickly erased from her mind, she beamed up at you and pulled you in for a hug. It didn't matter if you meant it or not. If it kept Annie happy, you play along. You sure that's a good thing? If she didn't have you, she had nothing. You couldn't do that to her, not after what happened to her, not after you left us behind. How about you, yourself, Oliver? Right now, without Annie, you're nothing as well. What a good boyfriend you are. Give yourself a pat on the back. Seems like you're of some use after all. She was just as cheerful as she used to be before it all. As cheeky and snarky as when you just met her. Such an adorable girl she is. You offer Annie your hand, which she accepts, and you both move into the thicket of the wood, the unknown swallowing you whole. We're reaching.
Who's that from?
You pull out your phone from your jacket and start the message on the bright screen. Oh! We're finally seeing it! The bright screen, yes. Who is it? It is Aster. The fucking phone. Icon.
I'm sorry, call me. Want to talk?
It's Aster. She is asking where I am.
Will you respond?
No, I'll test my phone later. Aster? What happened? I'm sad that we're leaving Aster behind, honestly, in all these two endings.
Okay.
You smiled at Annie reassuringly and she returns the gesture. It was such an hopeful expression, as if you were her whole world, her universe. How could you deny her a soul so innocent? She showers you with love, lays at your feet, every mainstream. Is it? Is it really what you want? See? Is it really every man's dream? Is it really what you want? Is it really the desire that you feel in your heart? And yet you didn't feel anything. You didn't feel anything where this love should be. Perhaps God existed after all, and this was his punishment. A sudden spurt of service in an area as desolate and hopeless as this. A text message that never should have arrived. You could imagine him looking down at you in this very moment, laughing and pointing at you. In a way, isn't pretending to love someone an act out of love itself? Is it? Deep down in that cold, mechanical heart of yours, you truly believe so? That you did love her. You are sure Annie would agree if she had any say in the matter. You do love her. You have love in your heart. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's not love. But you have you both appreciate each other, you know, in a way. Just not romantic love, like I've said before. She's kept so nice and quiet all this time. What was going in that little head of hers, you wonder? Aster. Tired and sore with a weight like lead in your veins, you repress a sharp exhale and close the front door behind you without so much as thought. You shift your fingers more secretly around the backpack you carried and slowly creep forward, uncertain of what will await. The inside of the apartment was dark except for the glow of the TV off to the right. At the state of it, your eyelids fell to a near close in expiration, but you drew a breath through your teeth and stilled yourself. Treading lightly to the kitchen, you take a moment to pile up the excess dishes that were starting to litter the kitchen counter in order to make space for your bag. What is happening? You put down your bag on the crowded counter with a light thought and make a mental note to take care of the mess later. Otherwise, Mom will complain again that the place is a pigsty the moment she comes home. Dad was sitting on the couch. He didn't look at you when you came in. You approach him carefully, waiting for him to say anything, but all he does is gaze further into the flickering screen, playing some sports channel. You hover over the edge of the couch, hoping to get his attention. This was your story, Annie.
Are you still mad at me?
Neither did he make an implication that he was going to answer you, which was an answer by itself.
You are, that's months ago. I said I'm sorry.
He cocks his head at that, but not yet turning around. You weren't worth that much to him.
I felt really bad about it, that's why I told you.
What? Like I should thank you? What do you want me to say? I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Something like that. Will that make you feel better? Go away, you fucking monster.
I don't want you to act like I don't exist. Can you look at me when we are talking?
I'm watching something. In act of defiance or frustration, more likely a long after you build up both together, you walk over to the TV and block his view. He didn't quite warrant the direction you had hoped for. He sat up straight, groaning as he did. You want to talk? Let's talk. I know him for a while. I was just waiting for you to tell me, but really, 3 years. You must think I'm really fucking stupid to not notice you've been dating someone for 3 years.
It's none of your business who I spend my time with. I should be allowed to have a boyfriend. I'm 17.
It becomes my business when you think you can lie to me. I'm your father. You don't get to lie to me, you understand?
You're not my dad. You never acted like one.
Oh well, I guess I just imagine all those parent-teacher conferences I went to.
I hate you. I wish Mom was here.
Your mom, the woman who puts a roof over your head and a spoon in your mouth but never even shows her face. What's she gonna do?
Mom's working, and when she's here, she's busy tidying up everywhere because you don't care to keep this place clean. You don't care at all about us.
Daniel's face crumpled, the humor draining entirely from his features in roughly 2 seconds. In a blink of an eye, he lifts himself from the couch and you retreat against the wall till your back collides with it. He didn't give any reassurance that he was coming or give any space for defense. Need I remind you all the money I spent on you, everything about you, whatever you wanted, place I took you to, times I busted my ass to show up at your school. It's all thanks to me you don't look like you come from a goddamn dump. Fuck off. All of it for you to go behind my back and do God knows what with your boyfriend.
He doesn't do stuff like that.
And you never thought about why.
It's because
it's not like that. You fall silent, embarrassment washing over you as he mocks you. You even hear yourself. Who's he hanging around with? His friend? Putting you second to some guy. You grit your teeth, swallowing a response. You know it's not true, that he's just trying to get a rise out of you because he's upset. He wants a sign of defeat, your resignation because it gives him exactly what he wants. The unavoidable makeup after a fight where for a few weeks everything is good, you both pretend it is. While you eat lunch together and he takes you on long drives with great music and funny jokes, and by the time you come home way past bedtime you fall into bed together. Yeah, okay. His bed that's warm, comforting, and unlike the cold space you're supposed to call your own. Yeah. This is terrifying. Daniel, get the yeah. Daniel, get away, you son of what? He held you the way he did when you were younger, more fragile and easier to mold. It was special, like he said, secretive. He was in a good mood when things were going as he wanted, when you went along with the motions like a puppet on a string, and maybe in between all the strange muddle sensation it ever felt no. Nice. Annie. The things about those times they never last. Not with you around, surely. Somehow you always decide to cause trouble and make him angry with the look in your eyes, or your enunciation that was somehow defiant. It seems to last a little less with every time it happened, the nice part. Then there was no lunch, nor car rides, only mom, nasty comments echoing through the walls, and the cold shoulder worst of it all. It made you feel like none of it was real, and you couldn't tell anymore if that was good, that man you could pretend it wasn't, or if it hurt even more than he refused to acknowledge it. It wasn't worth it, not this time.
I've been keeping quiet too. What if I told someone? Mom or the police?
Why are we... Go away, I don't want to look at your face. Fuck off. But instead of glaring anger, expected he continued holding you in his unflinching stare, his mouth cracking open as a smile broke out across his face. That stupid, self-righteous smile. Oh, see you later under the water. Tell them what?
About...
There's nothing to tell.
But
Every synapse in your brain was telling, screaming at you to open your mouth and screech into his face as loud as you can, but before you can even will a single muscle in your body move, he speaks. Annabelle, don't get in over your head. He says, backing off like the conversation is over just because he made his point. What do you want for dinner? I'll order it, whatever you want.
When you're out of whatever this is.
He just stand there looking at you unimpressed because what will you do realistically? Murder you? Maybe. What can you do? Your eyes darts over to his phone, laying this card on the shelf. You can do a lot of things, Annie. Then the gears in your body begins to turn again, and as if it's moving on its own, your arm reaches out and grabs it from the shelf. What are you doing now? Daniel questions, cocking his head a little.
I'll order a pizza.
You say innocently, but he knows exactly what you mean by that. You scour through the contacts on his phone, looking for a name, all the while he waits in his phone for you to make a move for the phone to start ringing. I don't have the pizza's guy number saved, if that's what you're looking for. You hover over the call button, mirroring him. How about you give that back to me? You don't answer. Daniel closes him. No. You storm off in the direction of the bathroom, turning a sharp corner and almost slipping under the fabric of your socks, but manage to get hold of the doorknob. And Daniel yells out behind you, his footsteps growing louder in a wave of unbridled rage, closing in on you with every passing second. What? No, this is terrifying. Why are we having this flashback? Inside, you fumble with the key in your door, shaky hands losing their grip on it, and as you scared to pick it up, he breaks down the door with ease. A sick terror twists through your hands as he slams it shut behind him, only you and him in this tiny shared space. No. His phone must have fallen out of your hand. You notice you could feel it slither through the bathroom with an accidental kick from the heel of your foot as you try to back off. He grabs your hand in an iron grasp, one so hard it could breathe, and yanks the key out of the other. You try to yell, but before you could get through the first syllable, you are being shoved back against the wall, and there was a finger pointing in your face alongside all the words being hurled into it. You think your mom would care? If your mother cared about you, she wouldn't go looking for a man to take care of you. You bite your tongue, tears stinging the corner of your eyes. You press your head back, and turning as far as you could to avoid the majority of it. But you don't come crying to her when you have a bad day. Maybe next time you go to her instead, see how she'll treat you. Or even better, go to your boyfriend who blows you off every other day. You wanna do that? No, really. How about you go tell him about the things you did? You don't think he'll stay with a girl like that? Shut the fuck up, Daniel. She's not yours to control. She's still Annie, no matter what you do. It was scary when he got so angry. Silence was always the best and only option for that tone. Stony, empty silence. You stare down upon your other sneaker and only hope he will stop soon. Go to his house right now and tell him, see what he'll do. And when you do, you'll see that he never cared about you to begin with.
That's not true, he loves me.
You start to cry in earnest, unable to keep it any longer. It's true, sweetie. Sometimes we have to learn our lessons the hard way. He soothed with a razor-sharp edge to his tone, so deadly it cut at the lightest touch. If you don't believe me, you gotta see for yourself that... Oh, sorry, I bumped into my mic. Okay, where was I? If you don't believe me, you gotta see for yourself that everyone in this world is full of shit. And by God, when you turn back up here like nothing happened, you'll notice this is the only place you belong. He says as if the words are supposed to comfort you. You sob, pressing your eyes shut and shaking your head profusely in denial. Oliver loved you, he said it. He did, he mean it. You read over and over like a mantra because if you don't, you're scared, you stop believing it. His eyes never left you, judging, condescending, and pity-filled eyes. Daniel let out a weary sigh and let himself fall on your shoulder, allowing his arm to rest around your body. Get the fuck away, Daniel. I love you, Annabelle, you know that, right? You didn't answer, you stared at the wall. Your skin felt buzzy and too tight. You wanted to peel it all off right at the spot. Indeed. You wanna know why these things happen to good people like us? As he slowly came down from his fit of rage, his speech starts slurring and you could smell the pungent stench of alcohol on his breath the further he leaned in. World's unfair. God just doesn't like our sorry asses. A breath will caught in your throat as his hand slither its way under your shirt. No! It's soft. It's not. Oh. Get away. You monster. I hope your hand rots. It's the opposite of the world he hammered into your heads just now, floating around your brain getting mixed up with the touch of his hand where they shouldn't be. It's almost enough to convince you that he couldn't possibly mean any of the things he said. It doesn't last. You didn't look up when he turned around. You didn't look up when he gave you the keys to his car. You didn't look up when he trudged back to the way he had come to the same old couch. It is only when you shut the door to the Delta that you lean back against the seat and start up at the hovering blackness before the ceiling and gulp in air like you never tasted before. Ollie will do something. Ollie loves you. Ollie will help you. But Oliver was just like him. Like that, like Walter. After this, he will start seeing you the same way everyone else does. The way Walter said everyone did. You know what they also talk about? Oh. How you act so prudish all the time when in reality you probably just a huge slut. Walter? What the fuck is wrong with you? That's what everyone said, so I guess it must be true. No. No, it's not. And I know it's not Oliver you're living with, so I really have to wonder who else it is that putting up with you. To this day you ask yourself if he was pushing you to it because he wanted to get caught. If he wanted to get arrested, wanted to repent in earnest. All because of some gnawing guilty conscience that hid itself deep in the backroom of his warped mind. Or if Daniel really, with all his trust in God above, believed there's a bask in the thought that Oliver will be too cowardly to help. The latter. He's fucking sick in his head. There's something wrong with him. And if that were true, then what he said must be right. God just didn't like you. I don't know. I cannot tell about that. You sit in the bed of your camper, happily looking at the text on your phone, a white smile passes on your face. It's been some time since you felt this good, having done something that was on your mind for quite a while. It needed to be done, it was for the better. Kiss rattled in the door and looked up, watching a slightly sweaty and queasy looking over Oliver stumbling. You hum, eyes lighting up as you jump up and ran towards him. Ollie, you're home! Where are you from? You spread your arms, leaning in for a big hug which he barely avoided. Not now, Eddie. You laugh. Oh, come on, give your girlfriend a kiss. Mwah. Oliver tried to dodge away, only to end up cornered. He made a strangled noise, pushing your hand away. You away hard. Ouch. You stumbled back, crashing into a chair and falling to the ground. Oh. Oliver pulled a grimace, showing something between wincing and scowling. No. Ow, that hurt. You look at Oliver, who seems even paler. That hurt. I'm sorry. Oliver turned away and made a beeline to the bathroom, slamming the door shut and knocking up behind him. You pouted still on the floor. You're no fun when you're like this. Shut up. He shouted back through the door, making you roll your eyes. He'll see soon now. God will forgive someone who has once sinned and prayed for forgiveness, but will let ignorant sinners burn in hell. You get up, picking up the chair from the floor, listening to Oliver rummaging behind the door, cussing. You sat down on the bed, waiting. Tick-tock goes the clock. Clatter go to the bottles of pills, falling down into the tiled flooring. Loud cursing followed by a loud crashing noise. Soon after, the door unlocked and a frustrated Oliver appeared in front of you. Okay, where are they? You blink at him. Where what? Oliver scrunches his nose, face delightfully pain. Don't play dumb with me. You pout, looking away. He know what you did, so why was he making you say it? He banged his face against the wall, making you yelp as you fall back in the bed. God damn it, don't tell me you did it again. You said you never do it again.
What was he saying? You never done this before. On top of everything, now he was accusing you of all sort of things.
You flushed with anger, bailing your hands and gripping the sheets for surface.
Well, I wouldn't need to do it if you didn't waste all our money on them. You think you're so fucking noble. I won't let you do it again, you say, but then we have no money when I leave it all to you. Because either you fucking blow it all to get high or then even get paid in cash.
You look back at Oliver, his gaze has hardened, looking infuriated. A shiver went over your spine. I know all that. Don't bullshit me, Annie. Why do you keep doing this? Oliver ground his teeth together, putting on one of his knees on the bed for leverage. I'll kill you if you don't tell me why right now. Oliver, stop.
Because I hate the way you get when you're high. You're boring. You don't react to anything I do.
Oliver's face went blank. The emotion wiped off it for a moment, and the foolish idea that he might understand came to mind. Then it came back. He leaped forward and grabbed you by the throat. He put his entire weight into his arms. No, on your frail frame as you struggle. Fight against it, thrash around and scratch it at his arms. Electricity sparks through your bone as he starts to squeeze harder, making it difficult to breathe. The world around you started to get blurry. Meager gusts of air fight to ease their way through your crushed windpipe. Bloody lines started running down his arm, and the strength in your body starts to fade away. Your once clear consciousness now a flickering radio signal. You start to ask yourself, why fight against it in the first place? Annie, no. Wasn't the struggle everything you wanted? The thrill of the fight. You never wanted to win. Draw it out a little, maybe make him really earn it. You can feel the darkness close in, the signal turning off. It's nearly time. You look at Oliver through squinted eyes, his face contorted with raw anger, only wishing he'd keep his attention on you, only you for a second longer. The dark, twisted attention, huh?
What? A phone? His phone was ringing.
I don't know when maybe in a month or so.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I'll see you soon.
It was Oliver's voice. Lazily, you open your eyes and look around yourself dazed. Hey, look at it. Look at that plushie. That's so cute. Indeed. Why? Oliver, no. It seems your dream got entrapped. You don't know what when you doze off, only that Oliver seems sort of upset when he left. But he could never stay mad at you for very long. Surely he's forgotten all about it by now. The muffled voice recedes and you hear Case jingling the keyhole, unlocking the door to the RV. Oliver's home. Wait, no, that didn't come out right. Huh?
Ollie, you're home!
You jump out and leap into his awaiting arms, gently hugging you back. Hey Annie, was it a dream back then, or what? The one you're getting choked, am I mistaken? What's got you so riled up, huh?
I had a nightmare.
Oh, it is a nightmare. Oh, I'm sorry I wasn't there.
I don't like it when you're so long. You said you'd be home by 9.
Is that the nightmare? Or is this one the dream? Oh no. I didn't even know. I know I should have told you it'd take longer.
Didn't you see my text?
I didn't, I'm sorry. You nuzzle into him, longing to find a sort of comfort in his chest. It was cold. Oliver was always cold. The icy hand on your back barely even felt like hand at first, it's just like cold water.
You always say that.
I am, we just got really distracted. You decided to let the topic rest. You had brought this exact same thing a million times before, and while Oliver might say that he won't do it again if you push further, you know that it'll still end up the same way next time again.
Who are you calling out there?
He always did this, he heard you clearly. He was just pretending not to buy himself a little more time to think of an excuse.
I think I heard something before you came in. Maybe I was still dreaming.
Oh, it was just Zeki. He asked me if we could reschedule practice to Thursday.
There was no point in asking, you know all his answers already. You bite your lip, letting another question fall from your lip nonetheless. Are you mad at me? What? Of course not. What a stupid question indeed. Of course he wasn't. Oliver didn't get mad. He was never mad. He was never much of anything, always molding himself to be what you needed at the very moment. He said things exactly as you wanted to hear them, rattling down his apologies of words of comfort. It was hollow, there was no meaning to any of it. The most insulting part was how he thought you believed him. He had this air around him like he was proud of his performance, like he was doing you a favor. Oliver's hand slides down the curve of your waist in all too familiar manner and you find yourself leaning into it despite yourself. How do you forget about it during practice? Let's just move on, yeah? Okay. How was it, practice? It was fine. It's simple as that. Come on, be more specific. Practice for what? When will you guys play again? I wanna watch. Next Friday at some club downtown. Then why don't we go check it out? You know, judge the competition. Oh, is it music? Guitar? You could tell by the pause he made that your suggestion didn't thrill him. It didn't thrill you either for that matter. The clubs where he and the other guys played were always too crowded and too loud, and the smell of smoke made it hard to breathe. But it'd be better than you pretend to fall asleep only for him to carefully slip out of the covers later, you convince yourself. Do we need to? Well, no. Oliver led outside at the forthcoming butt, as if you merely taking it to him was an inconvenience. But I could use a distraction. Right, fine, why not? Yay! Well then, go pick out a nice outfit, yeah? You don't want to miss the encore. He left you to your own device as you went outside for a smoke, he said, but he was just talking on the phone again, only at a distance where you wouldn't overhear him. You shoot him a last glance before going inside. He doesn't notice to be looking at his phone. The screen light up and you wonder who it is you're looking at. Something about the scene make you viscerally angry. You turn the thought around in your head what it was about him that made you recoil, but then you realize it was Oliver Fane's smug smile. It made you think of someone else. That's what I was saying. Even you dream of Daniel, of the past with Daniel first, right? And then and then that nightmare. I guess that was nightmare. I don't know if that's the reality and you're just dying right now, actually. And this was the dream. And even that nightmare was like indicating that. Someone antagonistic and condescending who love reminding you of your place in the world. You comb your hair the same way you always do with the same brush and same motion. Here he comes again. It's such a shame for your blonde hair. Shut the fuck up. You put on your makeup the same way you always do, always taking 15 minutes, not one more nor less, just like the way he likes. No. You never put in this much effort for me. I would have appreciated it. You pick out the black dress you know he likes. No wonder you get those looks leaving the house looking like that. You keep your nice nails short, your hair clean and fresh, your skirt not too short, so as not to get unwanted attention. Annie. Keeping yourself in a state of cryostasis, all for him. Annie, he's dead. We should move on. No. I'm sorry, I know it's hard, but he doesn't notice, does he? Pain. Agony. But no matter how hard you try, he doesn't look at you. His eyes focus on your features, yet there is a film over his eyes, a fog that is all-consuming and everlasting. There are glimpses of what is left of him shining through the filter at times, the raw anger and frustration, and sometimes even the glee in his face when he seems genuinely happy. It was never when he was facing you. You try to convince yourself that it must be imaginary or fleeting or passing season. It doesn't change, it doesn't pass, because like I said, it's okay, you both appreciate each other, respect each other, and like each other, love each other even, but not in a romantic way, and this is not the way to go. You're both poisoning yourself. With Oliver, it's always winter. The love that may or may not have been there has long frozen over. It ached in a way that was frustrating. You know that that the love he claimed to have wasn't something that existed not for you. You know it all along, but there was still a spark of hope that someday it may change. The person you seek that comfort from was no longer there. He was bits and pieces of other people, traces of strangers scattered all over him, consuming them, their personality and their thoughts. He was eating them all up, one by one. The stupid piercing on his life eyebrow that mirrors the one of the drummer. The spare hair tie he wore around his wrist for the long black hair of the lead singer. The second phone he thought he hid so well, accompanied by the familiar voice on the other end of the line that spoke as convincing as it always did. Conniving? The way he talked to you like you were a little kid, like you couldn't comprehend what he really meant to say. When he would lay with his head over the rim of the couch, hide off his mind, his Adam apple protruding from his neck as an open invitation to slice right through it. He was someone completely different. Yeah, but you were still here, sitting, waiting by the bedside table, acting as an ashtray for him to butt his cigarettes out. The voice in your head spikes again and you want to smash your head on the wall till the only thing you can feel is the blinding pain from. No. But even if he wouldn't relent, like a tumor in your brain, he never goes away. I told you everything as it would happen, but you didn't listen. Fuck off. You're not a prophet. None of the things you said are true. Shut the fuck up. It makes you want to grab Oliver's throat, squeeze the life out of him till the blood vessel in his eyes pop and he's no longer indifferent from all the other disgusting vermin with their grubby hands and hungry eyes. You step out of the RV, the dirt path sinking under your heels. You can hear Oliver's keys jingle and the lock turning on once then twice. There was only one pair of keys, his, that fact hammered into your brain every time he carelessly spun them around his fingers. He turns around and looks down on you, his eyes traveling all the way down and then up again, inspecting every inch of you. The porch light was harshly illuminating his feature. You look good. Oh, thank you. You want to believe he means it. Even though you know it's nothing more than mere false flattery, even though you know better, you hold him to the throat. You clutch it tight, for it might crumble at the sound of his voice if you don't. Oliver put his hand on the nape of your neck and places a kid in your forehead, almost childlike. You'll be the prettiest girl there. The same way Dad did, with the same tone in his voice. No. When you look up, Oliver was grinning. He should have been handsome when he grinned, his eyes crinkled when he did. For a few breathless, calm seconds, it's cold and clean and nothing else. But it's not nothing. Something always went wrong with Oliver's smile. There was always something calculating in it. Like he really wasn't happy at all, despite what he was trying to portray. It also faded away too fast, like a switch that turned off. It was unnerving. It did that now, and he said so in a low voice, almost a whisper. Before we go, you know I don't like asking this of you, but we're getting low on cash. Oliver? What the fuck? He says this with perfect confidence, like it makes sense, like you should already know what that makes sense. It's a declaration he makes like he's got a deed to your soul, signed and notarized. You waited, you know, he expected you to answer. You didn't. Instead, you looked past him to the RV, to the round curtains by the tiny bathroom window. It was only a matter of time now. You couldn't wait for Oliver to find out, for him to finally show his true face. Then and only then he'd see you. Ending one, play pretend. The look in Oliver's face like, oh no. It just fills with emptiness. And the looks in his face, it's just like, I don't know, it's more like, how do you say it, like, why am I here? That's how it feels. The hand in the neck. That's crazy.
And we finally reached the end of Joyride to Hell. We finally got for Joyride to Hell. Yippee. Nothing is joyful in here. But honestly, I much more even though like the second ending is still sucks a little for both of them, I guess. It's still way better than what is happening in the first ending, which is just straight up more horrifying, I'd say. This visual novel is very hauntingly beautiful. Oh shit, I bumped my mic, sorry. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, the game is so hauntingly beautiful. All of the elements are matching into a symphony of like despair, of dread, and angst, and like everything. It's just like the image, the visuals, the music, the story. Oh, like all the things. Like you read this and then you slowly construct in your mind of like, oh no, it's not what I think it is, right? And you look at a character's face, visual, and the way they talk, and you're like, thinking, oh, are they actually this kind of person? Like all of it is available in the expression. Like you can read it on them, even before like all the reveals, which is like crazy. What else to say? I really like the two endings option. I really like the whole story. Okay, give me some moments to actually calculate with what else to say. Okay. Oh yeah, now I can think a little bit better. It also speaks about how manipulative a person can be, how people relationships are complex, and like how a lot of people put facades. It's terrifying. Like all of this is like just like horrible. Also the relationships with like, I have to love her because I'm a good Christians, right? In this town, this church, and everything. That's the whole teaching of this whole town, and it's slowly getting like deconstructed or whatever the word is, crumbling down throughout the whole thing, and yet they are still stuck with it and cannot get away from it, like from societal constructs. Even when they escape the town, it's just sad. Also, Esther. Oh no, Esther. Maybe you can see sequels where Aster actually lives her life, you know, that would be great. Yeah, with the church town, everything. I love it, like, criticizing the society and community. But either way, yes, that's all for Joyride to Hell. I hope you enjoy it. See you later then, in my next video. Bye bye.